Symbols, little marks that hold entire worlds of meaning. Some we see every day, some we're told to fear, and some we weaponized to hide truths from us. Today we're diving into the most misunderstood, demonized, and erased symbol in human history. The swastika. Yeah, the one everyone screams Nazi at the sight of. But what if I told you that's just the surface? That beneath the twisted narrative lies a history of fire, resets, and human erasure. Let's light this shit up, bro. Get this shit lit, you heard? Get 'em lit. Yo, the swastika, it's old, really old, thousands of years old. Found across India, China, Japan, Native America, Europe. The symbol appears everywhere humans have ever built civilizations.
And it was a part of Hinduism that this swastika predates World War II. It predates the Nazis. It predates their sort of reclaiming of it. And this building that was built out here in I think it was built in the 1920s, has swastikas on it. There's a big plaque explaining why there's swastikas on it.
I know they have it at a different angle, right? Yeah. But I mean, talk about branding, right?
It wasn't a symbol of hate. It was a symbol of life, cycles, the sun, continuity, even cosmic order. In Sanskrit, it literally means well-being or good existence.
I am in India and I just saw a mother drawing a Nazi swastika on her baby. But that's not all. I keep seeing swastikas everywhere. In the streets, on the cars, and even inside their homes. At first, I couldn't understand why so much hate. But after paying close attention, I noticed something. The swastikas here are not tilted.
You shouldn't confuse this with the Nazi symbol.
You see, the Indian swastika is thousands of years old, and it was Hitler who stole it from the Hindu culture.
This is the Indian symbol for prosperity and goodwill.
In fact, the word swastika means well-being in Sanskrit, and in India, it's used as a way of blessing stuff. So if you have an Indian friend and you see this in their house, don't worry, because Indians are the most loving people ever. This is Alan's theory.
Today we're diving headfirst into the origins of an ancient symbol, the swastika. Originating from the Sanskrit term for hooked cross, this symbol was a beacon of fertility and prosperity in ancient civilizations. Imagine the ruins of Greece, adorned with these hooked crosses, or the landscapes of Egypt, where this symbol held high esteem. Journey east to China and India, and you'll find the swastika etched into history, symbolizing eternity. Even today, it graces Hindu temples, a symbol of well-being, but remember,
for the Buddhists, Hindus, and countless ancient peoples, it was sacred. So how did the symbol of life become the mark of death in the modern imagination? That's where the story gets interesting.
Yo, I want to look more into this sign because it kind of looks like a swastika. But I know it's not a swastika because the Nazis were thinking, what, the 60s, 40s? I'm not a history book, so please don't get in the comments on my ass because of this. But the Nazis, like, they came way after Japanese culture. So it's like, actually one of my friends yesterday, I took a picture of something like that, and they were like, dang, why do they have Nazi symbols? And I'm like, man, this shit was around way before the Nazis. So I wonder what that is, what it symbolizes, and why the Nazis chose to use something like that use to do what they wanted to do or whatever. So I don't know if they inverted it or what, but look at how crazy it is right now.
If you visit Censorship Temple, please go to Kominarimo and stand in line.
And to make room for their story, they had to burn everything else. Books, art, temples, monuments, The swastika's original meaning was erased from collective memory. Sound familiar? This pattern, erasure by fire, isn't new. It's been happening for millennia. The Library of Alexandria, the Great Fire of Rome, the countless destroyed indigenous temples, civilizations literally burned their past to rewrite narratives. Fire doesn't just destroy, it cleans the slate, it resets the record, and symbols are the bookmark humans tried to hide from themselves.
Paper, where he proposed swastika as a symbol of their party, presented arguments and all that. But why was swastika so widespread in other countries 20 years before the start of World War II? Moreover, it was used everywhere, starting from greeting cards, emblems of sports clubs, women's jewelry, and up to state and military symbols. Why did this ancient symbol suddenly become so popular in the early 20th century?
Now let's connect the dots. The swastika wasn't just a symbol. It was a memory code, a cosmic marker for cycles of destination and rebirth. Look at the way it rotates clockwise.
You can't see it from here.
That's crazy.
Just seems like your typical military structure.
No, I'd never noticed that.
4 L-shaped buildings on the Naval Amphibious Base.
Just looks like a normal office building, barracks building.
But check out this angle.
That's definitely a Nazi symbol.
A swastika that's had people talking for years.
There's a number of urban legends out there, including that the one barracks was built by German POWs during World War II.
We beat the budget by 10%, and everyone was happy.
John Mock designed it in the late 60s, more than 20 years after World War II.
There's no symbolic meaning to the design except the L.
Mock says he didn't see the swastika at the time because the working model only showed one L, which was simply to be repeated 3 more times.
Basically, it's 4 identical buildings that pivot around the central courtyard.
Ring, celestial motion, seasons, life, and death. Every time history was reset, whether through cataclysms, societal collapses, or controlled erasure, the swastika was there, whispering, "This isn't the end," and just the pause before the next cycle. And if you notice, modern history seems obsessed with the same cycles: fear, destruction, control, fire, erasure, reset. Governments, media, education, systems that teach us what to fear and what to forget. It's almost ritualistic.
So Dove, East 10 investigates. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the East 10 Outpost. Into a subject matter that, well, we're going to need to agree to be adults about. Because in 2025, it's so taboo, it's considered basically radioactive. But 100 years ago, that couldn't have been further from the case, and was so ubiquitous around the old world, it could even be found on highway signs here in the United States of America. I'm talking, of course, about the infamous swastika, a symbol that, just upon saying its name, probably caused some sort of reaction or recoil, but a mere 100 years ago, dating back all the way into the Ice Age, this symbol was something that was unifying to our ancestors, something that was so prevalent throughout the old world, no matter where you were, or who you were, what your lineage was, this symbol had universal meaning to you, and it transcended everybody on our planet. Literally. So join me if you dare as we begin to roll back 100 years of stink and bastardization on a symbol that has been a uniting factor for our species up until then. Because today, East 10 investigates the cosmic origins of the swastika.
It's like every fire, real or metaphorical, prepares humanity for a reset. And the swastika, it's the ancient symbol reminding us this pattern is neutral, universal, and terrifying to those who want you blind. The modern narrative, swastika, Nazis equals evil, isn't entirely wrong, but it's incomplete. It's the final frame of a movie where the opening credits were ripped out. The Nazis stole the symbol, stamped it into their uniforms, burned its history, and humanity forgot the rest. Imagine if every sacred symbol of the past was hijacked this way. The truths we have been burned out of existence. What knowledge erased because someone wanted control over fear?
The dreaded Nazi symbol of a swastika is a religious profanation of two sacred images. First, it is the Hindu symbol of peace and harmony turned upside down, meaning chaos and disorder, and it is also the hooked back cross, broken, indicating hatred of Christianity.
Now, before we frolic too far into the weeds of this conversation, it's important we define what it is and isn't going to be. Swastika was born. Now, to begin our journey, we're going to need to rewind the clocks back 15,000 years to the dawn of humanity and into the last ice age, because that's where this symbol's incredibly archaic roots lie. Mammoth tusks have been found carved with the swastika in Mazin, Ukraine, dated to around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, but a stunning 2025 find in a Siberian cave has pushed the dating all the way back to 15,000 BCE, showing this symbol is prehistoric through and through. It's a glimpse into the minds of our Ice Age ancestors and what exactly they found to be important. But the question still remains, how exactly did it spread around the globe? That answer, I believe, lies in the stars.
Here's the kicker. Fire's not just destructive, it's transformative. Swastika's original meaning, a symbol of the cycle and rebirth, is deeply connected to this. History's teachers, civilizations rise, knowledge is hidden, narratives are rewritten, and humans forget their capabilities. But fire, literal or metaphorical, resets the stage. The truth survives, encoded in symbols, waiting for those who question, those who notice patterns, those who don't just accept the story they're fed. The swastika, a mark burned into human consciousness, misunderstood, vilified, yet entirely alive. It's a cosmic wink, reminding us knowledge can be erased, yes, but never fully destroyed. And maybe, just maybe, we're on the verge of the next reset.
What's more terrifying than burning books? Burning people, because books hold knowledge, but bodies hold memory, bloodlines, resistance, spirit. When fire takes flesh, it's not just knowledge erased, it's whole peoples, whole possibilities consumed. The witch fires of Europe. For centuries, Europe lit up the night sky with flames of its own people. Thousands, maybe millions burned as witches, heretics, unfit souls. Were they midwives with knowledge of plants? Rebels against authority? Outsiders who didn't fit the mold? The official story says superstition. The deeper story is power, using fire as a warning, step out of line and we'll reduce you to ash. The fires of the New World crossed the ocean and the flames followed. Entire villages of indigenous peoples torched during colonization. People herded into missions or burned alive in their homes. Fire as a weapon of conquest, not just erasing memory, but eliminating witnesses. The books of the old world might have been lost in Alexandria, but the living libraries, the oral traditions, the people themselves burned in America's forests and plains. The Holocaust inferno, in the 20th century, industrial fire reached its darkest form. The furnaces of the Holocaust, factories of death built to turn human beings into smoke and ash. It wasn't just an attempt at extermination, it was an attempt at erasure, whole cultures, languages, ways of life consumed by engineered fire. See the pattern? Fire isn't random, it's chosen. Sometimes it's scrolls, sometimes it's villages, sometimes it's bodies, but the message is the same: the past will burn so the future can be rewritten. So we've seen fire take books and fire take bodies, but in the modern world, fire takes something even stranger: entire cities. Firestorms, great blazes, resets disguised as accidents. That's episode 4, Cities in the Ashes.
So next time you see a symbol, a story, a fire, ask yourself, is this destruction or a reset? Are we witnessing the eraser of truth or the prelude to awakening? History is written by the victors. Fire erases the past. Symbols carry the memory. It's time to wake up, question everything, and see the pattern they don't want you to see. And maybe the swastika isn't a mark of evil at all. Maybe it's a map to remembering who we really are. This is the Gremlin, and the reset is closer than you think. And we're just getting started.